All right. Welcome back, Latin people. I just chat a little bit while we wait for everybody to get logged in and find the video. So last week, I had asked you to uh, what did we do last week? Did I read Colloquium 6 last week? It's too late for me to look it up. I don't think I did, but that's what we're going to do again. We finished. I remember. I'm sorry. We didn't meet on the 9th. I'm looking at my notes and I forgot that we canceled on January 9th because of the snow. So we finished chapter 6 last week. I thought so. I asked you to do Pensum C. Those are the questions. Obviously, I can't hear your answers. We're going to go over those next week. Surely, we will be together next week. I can't imagine. I think it's supposed to get 50 degrees next week, which is amazing. So we'll keep Pensum C. I'm going to have you this coming week. All right, I'll tell you what we're going to do in class today, and then I'll tell you what your homework is, and we just get all that out of the way. Bring your Pensum C Chapter 6 questions to class next week. We will take time going over those. We will perhaps write your answers on the board and look at the grammar. We are not moving on next week to Chapter 7. I want to go over your sheets that we still haven't had a chance to go over, your passive and active verb sheets. We're going to do some practice. It's going to be a practice. Maybe we'll put some sentences into Latin on the board together. And I think that I will make a worksheet for you guys. Maybe something to do in addition to just sort of reading the Latin. I'll put together a little project for you guys to work on for next week. But for next week, so we're going to read Colloquium 6. So if you don't have your Colloquia Personarum book, please go get it so you can read along. I'm going to describe as much as I possibly can in Latin. I will describe it repeatedly and slowly, but then I will sort of explain it in English too, okay? Because I'm not here, I can't see you nodding. Yes, I understand. So for next week, I would like you to read Colloquium 6, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. Do one of them with the YouTube video. All right, with the Luke Ranieri's, the Scorpio Martianus Lingua Latina YouTube video. I would also like you to do Chapter 6, Pensum A. This is on page 46 in your Familia Romana. Oh, just dropped my colloquia book. Please, Pensum A. Do you see how Pensum A has paragraphs? Paragraph 1 starts with Julius ab opin. And then paragraph 2 starts with Medus non est apud domin. Just those two. Not the other two, okay? Write them out and see if you can figure out what ending should be used there. Okay? We will also go over those in class next week. Next week will just be a enormous review, catch up, get everybody on the same page, and then maybe the following week we might think about looking at Chapter 7, okay? So that is your only assignment. Read Colloquium 6 over and over. Do the first 2 paragraphs of Pensum A for Chapter 6 on page 46 in your book. Write them out and bring them. And if that doesn't take you at least half an hour a day, 45 minutes at this point would be better. Read an old colloquium that we've already read. Work your way through it. Go back to the beginning and read them all. Go back through Familia Romana. and read an old chapter. Try to work towards 45 minutes every day of looking at Latin. This could be listening to the guy reading it on YouTube, okay, and following along. This can be working on your sentences. This can be reading on your own. The more you look at it, the more familiar you will become with it. I guarantee it. I am living it myself with the classes that I'm taking. Reading large amounts of Latin that you understand will make you better. It really will. And next week we will attack, grammar issues and things like that. Okay? So for the rest of our time, this morning, scoot up a little bit, we are just going to read Colloquium 6 together. So grab your book and open up to page 16. Colloquium sextum est Colloquium 6, the 6th chapter, the 6th conversation. And remember, Julius it Tusculum ad Tusculum est villa Julii est Tusculum. Julius it venit Tusculum. Julius quaerit medum. Cur ubi est medus? Medus sumit numos pecuniam e sacco Julii. Numi sunt Julii. Numi non sunt medi. Medus sumit numos. Medus est fur. Fur means a thief. Here's a good English word. Furtive. If you're doing something furtively, comes from the Latin word for thief. Being sneaky like a thief. All right. Fur. Medus est fur. Medus numos sumit. Medus numos habet et medus abest. Villa est medus abest. Non est in villa. Abest. Discedit. Quo? Where to? Romam. Medus habet amicam Lydiam. Lydia est amica Medi, his girlfriend. Lydia non est ancilla. Lydia est libera. She's free. Lydia non habet dominum. Et medus it ad Lydiam Romam et medus dicit. Medus says, non sum servus. Medus dominum non habet. Medus has run away from his master. He stole money and he's run away. Okay. Itaque. Julius ad villa Tusculum it. Julius quaerit medum. Ubi est medus? Ubi est? Non invenit medum. He does not find medus. Quia medus Romam it. Julius nunc Julius Tusculo Tusculo ad Vilam it. Et Julius est in lectica. Duo servi portat lecticam. Julius est in lectica. Et duo servi portat saccos. Saccos. Humeris. Oh. Saci sunt graves. Oh, graves. Graves. Oh, saci. Servi feci sunt. Oh, feci. Oh, man. Feci. Quia saci sunt graves. Et lectica est gravis. Right? So this is what's happening in the main story, right? And you see a picture on page 16 of your colloquium book of the servants carrying Julius in the lectica and carry the servants with their sacks, putting down their sacks and taking a break. And so we're going to have a little conversation about what's happening during that trip. All right, that trip home. Okay, here we go. Personae, Medus, Julius, Davus, Cyrus, Leander, Ursus. Bene. Via Latina est longa. Via Latina est via Romam et Tusculum. Via Latina is the name of a particular road. Es longa. Sed medus qui via Latina Tusculo Romam ambulat fessus non est fessus. Medus non est fessus. Via est longa et medus est in via Latina Tusculo Romam medus ambulat Tusculo Romam cur quia Ludia est in Roma. Medus non fessus est. Nam is, it is medus, is ambulat ad Lydiam amicam, quae Romae habitat. Medus non est fessus, medus laetus. Yeah, medus laetus est, quia ambulat ad amicam. Lydia medum amat. Lydia amat medum. Et ab eo amatur. Lydia medum amat et medus Lydiam amat. Lydia medum amat et Lydia amatur ab eo. It is ab medo. Medus cantat. Non via longa est Romam. Medus autem solus ambulat. Non est servi, non sunt servi, non est amicus, solus ambulat. Itaque, id quod cantat, a nullo auditur. Id quod cantat, that thing which he sings, song. Auditur a nullo. Est nullus puer, est nulla puella, nemo, that means no one, is around to hear his song because he's alone. A nullo, by no one, auditur. No one hears his singing. We don't know if he's a good singer or a bad singer, so we don't know if that's a good thing or not. Okay. Via quae est inter Tusculum et Villam Julii. Inter. Villam Tusculum inter. Rod inter. Non tam longa est quam via Latina. Via Latina est longa. Via inter Tusculum et villa, non tam longa est. Which one is longer? Via Latina is longer, right? The road between Tusculum and the villa is not as long. Sed serviquator qui Tusculo ad villam ambulant festisunt. Via non est longa, sed servisunt festi. Cur, quia lecticam et sacos portant. Servi portant lecticam et sacos. Itaque servi sunt festi. Saci sunt graves. Lectica cum domino, cum Julio. Est gravis. Servi sunt festi. Duo servi, Davus et Ursus, lecticam cum domino portant. Davus et Ursus portant lecticam. Julius est in lectica. Davus et Ursus portant lecticam cum domino. Sacos portant surus et leander. Surus et leander, ambo, both, portant sacos. Julius, qui lectica vehitur, et is portatur, servos videt fessos, et imperat. Ponite lecticam in via servi. Oh, Julius est bonus dominus. Julius videt servos fessos. Videt servos. Oh, servi sunt feci. Et imperat ponite lecticam in via. Ponite in via servi. Julius sees that they're tired, right? And he tells them to ponite, put it down in the road. Stop, take a break. Julius, qui qui lectica vehitur. Vehitur. Idis portatur. Do you remember? This is a good time to point out something. That we have, let's see if I can see an example here. Oh, yes, let's go up to the first paragraph again. Where Lydia medum amat et ab eo amatur. Lydia loves Medus and she is loved by him. But here we have Julius who is transported by the lectica. In one of them, they used ab, like I taught you to do with the when we turn an active sentence into a passive. The other one, they didn't. It just has ablative with no a or ab, lectica. In Latin, when the thing you are using, when the thing that is doing something is human, they use a or ab. When you're using an inanimate object like a tool, by means of, we would say, they don't use a or ab. Julius is being transported by means of a lectica. No a or ab. Lydia is loved by him, by Metis, a or ab, because he's human. It could be like a human seeming animal, but something with personality, not an inanimate object. Does that make sense? We'll talk about that. We'll visit those again next week. Just wanted to point that out. All right. Servi feci lecticam invia ponunt. Servi ponunt lecticam invia ponunt. Neque jam ambulant, non ambulant. Stant. They just stand. Consistit. They stand. Surus et Leander sacos ponant. Est sacum. Surus et Leander ponant sacos invia. Davus. Phew! Via longa est ab opido, ab tusculo, ad vilam. Surus. Non longa via est, sed saci magni sunt. Servi sunt feci. Cur? Non quia via est longa, via non est longa. Quia saci sunt magni. Itaque servi sunt feci. Leander. Tuus sacus est parvus. Remember, Surus et Leander are carrying the lecticum. Davus et Ursus are carrying. I'm sorry. Surus and Leander are carrying the sacks. Ursus and Davus are carrying the lectica, right? So Surus says, well, it's just the sacks are so big. Davus says, oh, the road's long. He's carrying the lectica. He doesn't carry a sack. Leander says, or Cyrus says, well, it's not the road, it's the heavy sacks. Leander, who's also carrying a sack. Tuus sacus est parvus. Ecce, sacus meus magnus. Sure, tuus sacus est parvus. Meus sacus est magnus. Davus autem lecticam cum domino portat, non sacum. Davus portat lecticam. Et Julius est in lectica. Davus non portat sacum. Surus. Davus non solus, sed cum urso lecticam portat. Surus. Surus dicit. Right. Meus sacus est magnus. Leander. Tuus sacus est parvus meus sacus, says Magnus. Et leander davus portat lecticam. Et lectica habet Julium. Julius est in lectica. Davus portat lecticam et Julium. Surus, however, answers, Davus non solus, sed cum urso lecticam portat. Davus non solus est. Davus non portat lecticam solus. Davus et ursus portant lecticam. Itaque non tam feci sunt, quam me. Ursus. Neque vacua est lectica. Lectica non est vacua. Julius est in lectica. Duo servi portant lecticam, sed lectica cum Domino, cum Julio est gravis. Dominus non tam parvus est quam sacus tuus sure. Sure, tuus sacus est parvus. Lectica cum Domino, cum Julio, non est parvus, non est parva, est magna. Julius, qui davum fesum videt, imperat. Iam sacum suri porta dave, prius, antiquam, davus lecticam portat. Nunc Julius imperat, davus sacum portat. Antiquam prior davus lecticam portat. Nunc davus sacum portat. Cur? Quia Julius videt davum est fessum. Et imperat davus portat sacum suri. Nunc suri lecticam portat. They're going to change places, do you see? Davus was carrying the lecticam. Cyrus was carrying a sack. He says, carry Cyrus's sack. Urse, sume sacum Leandri. Quoque, ursus, antiquam prior lecticam portat. Nunc ursus sacum portat. Sacum Leandri. Et Leander lecticam portat. The slaves have both switched places. Cur, quia feci sunt. Agite, suri et Leander, lecticam portate. Antiquam surus et Leander portant lecticam, portat sacos. Nunc portat lecticam. Et Julius imperat, agite, sure et Leander, portate lecticam. servi parent. Id est Julius imperat agite et servi agunt. Julius imperat sumite et servi sumunt. Julius imperat ambulate et servi ambulant. Parent. They obey. Davus et ursus sacos sumunt. Lecticam sumunt surus et leander. They obey, and they have completely switched places now. Right? Julius imperat ambulate servi. Iam rursus ambulant servi. Surus et leander lecticam cum domino portant. Et saci portantur ab urso et davo. Id est ursus et davus portant sacos. Saci portantur ab urso et davo. Ursus sacum magnum portat, sacus parvus a davo portatur. Id est ursus portat sacum magnum, davus portat sacum parvum. Sacus parvus a davo portatur. Iam davus non tam fesus est quam surus. Cur non tam fesus? Quia davus portat sacum parvum. Antiquam prior davus portat lecticam. Sed nunc davus portat sacum parvum. Sacus parvus, sacus non tam magnus est quam lectica. Itque davus non tam fesus est quam surus. Phew! Via longa est ab opido ad vilam. Davus said the same thing on the other page. That's because Davus was carrying the lectica. Now, Cyrus is carrying the lectica, and he says, "Oh man, the road's long." Davus, read that. Yeah, now you know how I felt. I'm carrying Julius around in that thing. Ursus ad davum. Cur non ambulat dominus post lecticam. Cur dominus est in lectica et portatur. Dominus portatur, vehitur. Cur Julius non ambulat post lecticam. Ante lecticam, post lecticam. Quod dominus non ambulat. If Julius would just walk, the lectica would not be so heavy. Quod dominus non ambulat. Post lecticam. Davus dominus fesus vehitur, non ambulat, quia non est servus. Servi ambulant. Dominus portatur, non ambulat. Dominus vehitur, non ambulat. Non est servus, servi ambulant. Ursus. Et servi feci ambulant non vehuntur, quia domini non sunt. Servi non est domini. Servi sunt feci, sed servi non est domini, non sunt domini. Itaque servi ambulant, servi non portantur, servi non vehuntur. No, servi ambulant. Servi feci ambulant. Non sunt domini. Leander, num fessus est dominus, qui lectica vehitur? Davus said, Dominus fessus vehitur. Dominus est fessus et portatur. Now, Leander asks, num fessus est dominus? Est dominus fessus? Cur dominus est fessus? Dominus est in lectica. Non fessus est. Num fessus est dominus qui lectica by means of electica vehitur? Tace, Leander, dominus te audit. Dominus audit Leandrum. Leander, est dominus fessus? Dominus est in lectica. Et tavis, tace, Leander, dominus te audit. Julius stertit. Stertit. Leander, ecce dominus iam dormit. Quia longa via fessus est. Dominus est fessus, est Dominus dormit. Est fessus, et Julius dormit, et non me audit, quia dormit. Non audit me. Is me non audit. Julius non me audit. Verba servorum al Julio non audiuntur. Julius non audit verba servorum. Verba servorum a Julio non audiuntur. Nam Dominus fessus iam dormit in lectica. Julius dormit in lectica. Non audit verba, non audit servos. Fessus est, et dormit. Dominus qui dormit, a servis non timetur. Servi non tement Dominum qui dormit. Dominus dormit, et servi non tement. Dominus non dormit, et servi tement. Cur Dominus habet baculum. Dominus eos verberat. Itaque servi tement Dominum. Dominus dormit, non verberat. Dormit, non habet baculum. Et servi non timent. Non timent. Dominus qui dormit. Non timetur a servis. Ita? Bene? Hopefully you followed. They just switched places in the carrying of the loads, and complained about whether or not their load was the heaviest. And Julius falls asleep in the lecticum and in the lectica, and they'll say anything they want to about it or complain as much as they want because he can't hear them. All right, we follow. Here's what I'd like to do. I see we've only been 40 minutes in. Let's take a few minutes. If you have your book, your Familia Romana, hopefully you have it right there. If you have a piece of paper or a pencil, that'd be awesome. If you don't, it's okay. We'll get a head start on that Pensum A. Maybe we'll do the first few together for the next 4 minutes or so. And then just finish up those first 2 paragraphs of Pensum A. So read what we just read, read it at least 4 or 5 more times. Do at least once with the YouTube video, not mine here, but the good one with the pictures from the book. And let's just open up to page 46 and let's take a look at the first sentence. Okay, it says Julius. Oh, and by the way, do you see on the upper left-hand corner, look in the margin. Let's maybe talk about this even if we don't get as many as Pensum done. Look in the margin, upper left-hand corner of page 46. And there's a little chart, and there's a bunch of endings everywhere. Let's take a look at what that chart means. Do you see the very top little chart has us and ah, and then below it has e and I. Do you see that? And then there's a middle column that says os, as, ah. And then there's a right-hand column that says t and nt. Let me unravel that for you. The left-hand column are the subject endings, right? So your subject's going to end in us or ah. It's going to end in e or I if it's plural. The middle column are your direct object endings. And the right-hand column are your verb endings, right? So we might say, davus sacum portat. And then I've used the 3 endings. Or I might say, puella rosam sumit. Do you see? Or if it's plural, I might say, puellae rosas sumunt. And you've been doing these for a while. This is you know these endings. Now below it, there's another chart. This is if it's passive. We have our left-hand column with our subject endings again. And in the middle, we have ab or ah, something that ends in o, ah, or is. So ab opido. Wila. Servis. And then our passive verb endings, ter or unter. So here's an example. Servus. No, let's do Dominus a servo portatur. For singular. Let's do a plural. Domini a servis portantur. And then we have examples. Do you see at the top with the pictures of the guys holding sacks? And we've looked at this before. So there's examples of them. Use this as you do Pensum A. Okay? This will help you. So for example, our first sentence, and I think we're only just going to do this one together, okay? Julius ab opid tusculo ad vil su eat. All right, Julius eat. Julius goes ab opid tusculo. Ab. Well, what does ab take? It takes o, a, or is endings. What is Opie? Is town? Is there more than one town named Tusculum? Is it going to be plural? Oh, so it's not going to be is. Is the word for town opida normally in the singular? No, it's opidum. So it's going to use the opido, just like Tusculo. Julius ab opido. Remember, what case do we usually use when we use the word ad to or towards a place? Well, we might have to look back in the story for some of these, and let's see if we can find a place where they use ad. I'm just going to go to the beginning. Unfortunately. Oh, look at the top of page 42. The second sentence. Ab opido tusculo ad Wheelam. Oh, jackpot. It uses the accusative ending, just like a direct object. Ad Wheelam. But the sentence says ad Wheelam su Bennett, do you see? Work through the rest of those. We will go over all of this together. As always, if you are reading and you just cannot figure out for the life of you what a sentence is saying, please just call me or email me, and we'll go over it together. I'm more than happy to. But if you repeatedly read these in the Latin and you try to just sort of get the sense of it, eventually, it's very slow. It's not going to happen yet. Eventually, you don't have to turn it all into English in your mind. But we're a ways from that. But that's what we're working towards, okay? If you can understand it without making it English, that's good. That's good. But if you can't, it's okay too, all right? So keep working at it. Hopefully we will just do a big old review next week. Let me know if you have any questions. For those of you who are high school students and are sticking around, I'm going to take a break. I see it's 11:23 on my clock. I'm going to take a break. I'll be back on at 11:30. I'll fire it up at 11:30. So see you in about 6 minutes. For the rest of you, have a good week. Be careful on the ice. Bye-bye.